Thank you, Chair, and distinguished members of this committee. Good afternoon. My name is Marc Berkman. I am the CEO of the Organization for Social Media Safety. We are the first and leading consumer protection organization focused exclusively on social media. I want to thank Representative Gon Gershowitz and Sammy's Law's co-sponsors for their bold leadership in answering the urgent call from parents across the country and Illinois who are begging their elected representatives to protect our children from the many dangers of social media. I want to be clear, and I know this was stated, that these threats are not theoretical. Despite some increased awareness, the harms to children caused or exacerbated by social media are far more severe, far more pervasive than most of us realize. We just heard from some very brave parents, Sam Chapman and Rose Bronstein, about the tragedies that social media caused their families. They do not stand alone. They stand with us and many, many thousands of parents of deceased children across the country. They also stand with the millions of families who have suffered other serious harms. On social media, about 46% of teens report experiencing cyberbullying, and we found that very same statistic across the schools that we've worked with in Illinois. Predators sextort our children, drug dealers market their drugs, human traffickers target young teens, and suicide, depression, anxiety, and eating disorders rise alongside excessive social media use. The list of threats is tragically long. Thankfully, we have before you today Sammy's Law, a bipartisan, common sense intervention that will provide immediate protection to literally millions of Illinois children from all of these dangers. The bill will finally give parents and caregivers the choice to be able to use third-party safety software on all major social media platforms. And by major, we mean the large social media platforms. So those are platforms in this bill defined as having 100 million monthly users or $1 billion in yearly revenue. So we're talking about platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Google and YouTube, Reddit, and others, about 35 social media platforms here. Safety software provides life-saving alerts to parents when dangerous content comes across a child's account. If a child is being preyed upon, bullied, solicited for drugs, safety software can warn parents who can then intervene before the child is severely harmed. If a child is ideating on suicide, seeking out content that glorifies eating disorders, or is being exposed to extremist violence, safety software can provide critical alerts so parents can get their children the support and resources they need to be safe. The platforms simply cannot and have not done this themselves. Please understand that Sammy's Law is not engaging in theory or seeking to create a new intervention. Third-party safety software is an existing, proven effective product already protecting millions of children from the harms of social media, sending out millions and millions of life-saving alerts each year with established efficacy. We know from the data, both empirical and anecdotal, which happens to be dispositive, that this is the single most effective tool, long and short term, in our fight to protect children from social media-related harms. It has prevented suicides, deterred substance abuse, and even stopped at least 16 school shootings. The problem is that the social media platforms need to provide data access between the child's account and the safety software provider at and only at the child's parent's request. Some social media platforms allow this, while others, like Snapchat and TikTok, tragically refuse to do so. This decision, as Rose said, is simply unconscionable. Children are dying while these social media platforms deny parents a readily available, established safety tool. We can change that today with Sammy's Law. After years of deliberate, intentional drafting that we've undertaken on this provision with numerous stakeholders, this bill is laser focused to give caregivers this critical option to increase child safety while maintaining the highest levels of privacy and data security. In fact, this bill actually materially increases data security and privacy over the status quo. As I mentioned, this is an existing class of products already serving millions of families. This bill would add requirements like disclosure to the child if a parent engages this option, and strictly limits disclosure only to a list of specified defined harms. So we have not just balanced the concerns here, we have directly addressed and resolved them in this bill text along with our bill author here. We have seen enough broken-hearted parents, and we know today that we can no longer delay action. So for the sake of Illinois' families, of Illinois' children, I ask this committee to please pass on Sammy's Law.